Flaherty follow-up, episode 13. Lucky episode 13, because we are here today with Maureen Chansey, Senior Escrow Officer at Arizona Premier Title. And I have had the pleasure of working with Maureen for the last 5 years. It's also my 5-year anniversary at Sotheby's today.
Woohoo!
So celebrating so many things, but really excited to hear some insight and wisdom from her in relation to the escrow process. So, Maureen, how did you get into escrow?
Funny story. I saw a friend at the mall and she says, "Do you want to make a lot of money?" And I said, "Sure. What do I have to do?" And she's like, "I just want you to answer phones in real estate." So she didn't actually say what I was doing. She goes, it's a job called escrow, and you get to deal with a lot of people and make them happy with purchasing their home. So I said, "Great, I'll try it out." 24 years later, here I am.
Here you are. Here you are. That's so perfect. And honestly, I think that is really the whole point of escrow. I mean, is to get you from point A to point B and closing and making things official for that new home. And I think the process is super important to understand. And I think it's really brushed over a lot of times. Yes. And I think people don't exactly even know what things mean. So let's just start with the first one. What is title insurance?
Title insurance is something that makes sure that you have clear title to the property. So what we're doing as your escrow officer is that when you go into contract, we are making sure that anything recorded against the property is what it's supposed to be. Any of the rules and regulations, we're making sure that when the seller is telling you that they can sell the property, that they in fact are the seller, and that we are clearing all of their mortgages and liens off that property. So you as the buyer, once you receive that property or get it in your ownership, that it's only yours and not anyone else's. Come knocking at your door saying it's mine.
So clearly super important. Maybe most important thing about a transaction. Yeah, well, there you go. That was a beautiful definition. I would say too, one of my favorite things with working with Maureen is she is always up for, I say my creative escrows I bring to her. But I think having a relationship with your escrow officer is super important because questions do come up, and yes, sometimes outside of timeframes and business hours. And so I think having that relationship that goes a little bit deeper than just, hey, business transactions has definitely been important for me on a couple transactions. But I think too, realtors watching, listening, know that they have so much knowledge, and questions to them is maybe the best place to start. And then if they can't handle it, they normally can direct you to a good place. So I know I've done a couple lot splits on purchases buyers have done. She's helped me with that, kind of get me in touch with the surveyor, all the things that need to happen to make that all cohesive at the close. Tell us about maybe your most crazy escrow story. I mean, that could go a lot of places. Yeah. So you just pick.
Well, it's hard to just pick one. What do you mean by crazy?
Maybe the hardest, things were going smooth, you ran into something.
The most challenge I will say that we have is it never fails that when someone goes into escrow, they're on a trip. They're going on vacation. They have planned the trip of their dreams, but as you know, we never know when that house is going to go under contract or when that home is going to be there available when it lists. So I think the craziest stories I have is locating buyer and sellers to sign their final documents to make the contract happen.
Yep.
And I will say recently the most crazy one is when the systems went down. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of the other title companies were attacked by, what am I looking for? Virtual cyber. Yeah. So they were all shut down. So we were open enough to get transactions closed. So I had the pleasure of on Christmas Eve getting a transaction done in 24 hours. Wow. Doing everything by hand, my settlement statement, checks and balances, and getting these people signed before they had to leave to go to North Carolina on Christmas Day.
Wow.
So we actually got the transaction closed the day after Christmas, but I had 24 hours to get that all done.
Yeah. Well, and we even had one, we had to email the Consulate of Canada. I mean, we've had some fun ones, but.
My favorite one is I actually did a signing in a Walmart parking lot on the top of a truck, on the hood of a truck in Elko, Nevada. So those are, it's just pinpointing down signings and getting those documents back in time for closing.
Yep. Yep. So there's a lot of behind the scenes, guys. It's not just sign the dotted line and it's yours. So appreciate your escrow officers and thank them for what they do, because they really are the backbone of this business. Any other final words? I mean, I guess on that point of signings, that has really changed since 2020.
Yes.
So people really can sign even online?
Yes, you can. I mean, there's requirements that have to be put in place, and if you meet those requirements, you can sign with an online notary. They do the mobile notary, and we still do the good old-fashioned come on in and see me. So, but I will say that the best thing about COVID is giving us more options to get these transactions closed in these unique situations that we have with buyer and sellers not being here for the closing.
Yeah.
So, and now I see more and more lenders are doing a lot of online stuff as well. So it's opened up our pathways to get more creative in getting the transaction done for your buyer and seller, so they don't have to be brick and mortar closings.
Yeah, 100%. Well, any other tidbits of wisdom you want to share?
Pick up the phone. No.
Yes, in our business.
I know everything is virtual these days and we have so much technology, but we like to do that simple phone call, introduce ourselves, and just have that one-on-one conversation with your buyers, with your sellers, and even with the agents. Yep. We just want to, still put that personal touch on your transaction.
Preach. I love it. Thanks, Maureen.
Thank you.